through your history with James. I know from somebody who doesn't plot, you don't know what your book is about until, I don't know, for me, 70% in, I'll be like, oh, maybe this is what this book is about. Fear of abandonment, whatever it is. Did you have that moment where you're just watching these characters and kind of writing what they're doing, and then have this moment of like, oh, this is the psychotherapy that I didn't realize I was giving myself. This is what this book is really about.
No.
Right?
I mean, I vaguely know what the book's about, but and I think I know where. Well, yeah, there may be a second one, but when I died for the second time, but it's. I just kept following my nose. That's how I write lyrics, and you trust, and you trust, and trust, and trust. I had written the near end scene earlier. It's one that I'd really clearly come to me as a strong thing, and so I'd written that. So I knew there was an end point somewhere in the distance.
Have you felt a different? Yeah, you've been performing for so long, and then this is relatively new, certainly in terms of actually launching a book and all the vulnerabilities that go along with that.
Yeah.
Has that felt like? I mean, it's just funny. I think about it. You've been touring in Europe. You just came from Brazil. You're kicking off your North American tour here tomorrow, and now you're doing a book event. Like, do you feel? Does it make you scared a little bit to talk about your book? Like, this is something new, and I'm vulnerable about it. Or are you as confident about this as you are in performing as a musician?
I'm confident in the book now.
Yeah.
I was not at all for a long, long time. Like all the rewrites, you're looking for faults, so that's what you see. And then the last time I read it through, where I wasn't allowed to change much. They wouldn't let me, and I started to kind of enjoy it and go, oh, okay, this is holding. And then getting feedback from people who were staying up to 4 in the morning, and then watching reactions and reviews and things. And it went top 10 in England.
Yeah.
So
with a lousy, it's been a good summer for
with
you.
a lousy book company, Yeah. So like we ran out of books at all the readings to sign. Every single one. They kept underestimating what it was going to sell. Because they go, literary fiction doesn't sell. And you're like, fuck off. It's like, it's not true. If you can, you can make it a page turner, you can have both, you can have it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm now quite like, it might be too hard for some people. There's some pretty graphic scenes, graphic sex scenes, graphic scenes. Someone said it's mixed Stephen King and Irving Welsh.
Did you have anything that was cut out that was particularly graphic?
No, I didn't cut anything out. I had one more sex scene, which I thought was a little gratuitous. I think sex scenes are really important.
Yeah.
And I also like, I wanted to win the bad sex awards in England. Because they don't have bad violence awards, they have bad sex awards, the prudes. And so I was like, I'm determined to win this award.
No, but you treated it well. I mean, I've always thought that with writing in general, that sex and violence, I think, are important, but they should be treated with a lot of respect, and they have to propel the story. They have to be meaningful. And yours is a very emotional book, I'd say. I think the emotions, of whether it's fear or laughter, whatever it is, they're at the surface there. But I felt those scenes where there was violence and there was sex, like nothing felt gratuitous to me. Did you get any of that feedback? Like, all right, I can see you're just kind of hamming it up here.
Yeah, one review definitely was like, yeah. But and I'm sure it will be too strong meat for some people in some of it, but I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, it does read as a thriller, by the way, I would say, absolutely.
Get page past the 70, it's like every book, you have to get into the world.
Well, you have near-death experience in the first chapter, so that was pretty thrilling.
Yeah, that's that thing where you give someone a taste of what might be coming,
Yeah, and what was your very first thought when you said, now, I know it was a 10-year process, I know you took a writing class, but what was that moment of like, I'm going to write this book, it's important?
Well, the moment that sparked the initial concept was my partner of 28 years is Jewish, and when I started going out with her, her father rang me and said, "You can't marry your daughter, you're not Jewish." That's the first conversation we had. I pointed out that this might be racist, and he veered the other way, and but we became really close. We all the day we met, we all got food poisoning, and we bonded over the food poisoning. But the grandmother would never meet me, and she was in her 90s at the time, and she scared the life out of the whole family. And she hadn't got long, but she wouldn't meet me, and she was like furious that her daughter was going out with a goy. And one day I came to the house, and Kate's mum said, "She's upstairs, take her up a cup of tea." And Kate's up there, and I took her up a cup of tea, and I walk in, and this woman's like, and then she's back on me, and she's eagle-eyed, so like sharp. And within a minute, she's going, "You're a singer in a band, aren't you?" I go, "Yeah." "Sing me a song." "I haven't got an instrument." "Sing me a song." And so I sing this song, which was a song I wrote with Angela Badalamenti, which was like a love song, an attempt to actually get people to fall in love with me. It's like a charm, a spell. And I put everything into this song. And I sing it to her, and Kate's crying. She's like looking at me like this. And I stopped the song, and there's this kind of silence, and I was really lost in it. She goes, "It's very good. And you're a good-looking young man. I can imagine the girls like you. And let me tell you, if you hurt my Kate, I will come back from the dead, and I will haunt you. I will come back from the dead, and I will haunt you." And I came out going to Kate, "That would be a great idea for a novel." A fucked up singer who's addicted, who can't help himself, and he can't help himself. And that was 28 years ago. I never thought of writing it. It was just like this first idea.
Right. And it got done. And
It's a song. If you wanna, I was thinking I might sing this to you, but you've probably heard it a million times. Or if you haven't heard it, look it up. It's called "Please Fall in Love with Me." But it's one of the nicest. It's one of the best songs I've been involved in writing, and it's one of the least known songs James fans don't know because it's come off a different record.
It's so good that you didn't get haunted.
There
As
you
far
go.
as you know.
Yeah, who knows?
I want to make sure we have some time for questions because I appreciate all of you coming out. So, yes.